Hallo zusammen. I guess this is gonna be the one and only time on this channel that I'm gonna say I'm gonna be reacting to Dicke Titten by Rammstein. I'm gonna watch the video for the first time together with you guys. I have listened to the song because I did a whole full album reaction, if you will, and it's an interesting song to say the least. But let's find out what the music video is all about. I'm curious. Hope you are too. Let's check it out. Out of copyright reasons, I can't include the actual music video in this video, but don't you worry at all, because as per usual, there is an easy workaround, and this is how it works. Around. If you have two screens, put this video on one screen and the music video on the other screen. So let's check out what the music video to the third single off of the album Zeit is all about, how it correlates with the lyrics of the song. And by the way, if you're interested in Rammstein and the German language and culture, well, this is pretty much a pretty interesting channel for you, I'd say. So feel free to subscribe for free, of course, and to check out my 70 plus other Rammstein videos and over 700 videos in total about various different topics about the German language and culture, life in Germany, Germans, and all that stuff. So I'm ready, hope you are too. Let's check it out. Let's check out the music video to Dicke Titten by Rammstein. And let's hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. Kind of familiar, you know, in terms of cultural context. Love the beginning. Oh, forgot one hit. Till. Der Almöhi. Love it. Nice rhythmic pattern there, you know, also in the music video. Nein, da ist kein Glück in Sicht. Also because he's blind. And this reminds me of Ausländer, this pre-chorus. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Da 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 da. Okay. Nice. Oh. The outro, the coda. Flake, of course. What's he doing? Oh no, Till. Don't fall! Jörn Heitmann, once again, longtime collaborator and director, has worked many times with the band before. So, yeah. Okay. And Katapult, of course. Yeah. The production company. They have worked on other newer or more recent videos before as well with the band. Interesting outro. This is not on the album. Okie dokie. But let's watch it. It's part of the video, so let's do it. So what you're hearing right now is pretty much die traditionelle Musik. Or in German, you might actually also say die Volksmusik, the folks music, the music of the people, of the folk, the common folk. With very traditional instruments, tubas and saxophone and all that kind of stuff, Classical, traditional instruments in that sense. Okay. Nice. Okay, that was Dicke Titten by Rammstein, the music video. So, to lift the secret that is not a secret anymore, maybe it has never been for you, in case you understand German, of course, because the song's title translates to big tits, huge tits, thick tits. And I'm not talking about the bird. And in that sense, this song belongs to the same category that pussy is in, that sex is in. It might be a bit more direct in comparison. And OK on the same album is as well, ohne Kondom, without condom, without a condom in that sense. I guess Dicke Titten, the song, sounds strange to say this out loud. Lyrically speaking, I think this one is one of the more simpler ones. And maybe some people might even say, okay, well, it's just about a man who wants to have a woman with big boobs, big tits. And that is all he cares about. Literally all he cares about. He doesn't care if she's rich, if she is intelligent, smart, if, she has a job, what she actually looks like. It's all about the tits. But of course, you could also interpret this one a bit more in depth, and a bit more seriously, because you could also argue that Dicke Titten by Rammstein, the song, is also a reflection on toxic masculinity, in terms of some men looking down upon women as, sex objects, and that's it, They just want to have big boobs for their own pleasure, and they grade down or degrade, so to speak, women to almost objects and non-humans because, they just exist to fulfill their desires, sexual erotic desires, so to speak. So in that sense, it could also be understood or comprehended in a more serious way, in a more serious tone, that might actually make the song more profound and relevant. However, that doesn't mean that this song isn't interesting linguistically speaking. For instance, there's a line that goes, I think, einzig Trost sind kleine Hunde. The only comfort are small dogs. It doesn't really seem to make too much semantic sense in the context of these lyrics in English, but in German it actually does, because this line refers to a colloquial or slang term referring to female breasts, boobs, die Möpse, a plural term in this case, and actually der Mops, singular, die Möpse, plural is a pug, the dog breed pug. Der Mops. But for some reason, I don't know the exact origin of this, by the way, but for some reason, there is, a colloquial meaning to that, when you say, Sie hat große Möpse. You could actually mean she's got big pugs, you know, like big little dogs. Or you could actually say, well, she has big boobs. Like that in German. That's the German language in a nutshell. And of course, the music video also plays on different, associations that men might have with the female breasts and or, also, of course, females with females and men with men. It's just about the sexual desire of the breast in general. For instance, there was a cow that got milked. Die Kuh wurde gemolken. And you could see the milk, how it actually came out of the Euter, der Euter. So there are many different visual references to this whole topic of the breast, the idea and the biological physiognomy of the breast, so to speak. And I don't know about this, but if you have seen this video and you're not from Germany or not from Austria, Switzerland, that part of the world, that region, you might have associated everything you've seen with Germany per se. However, what you've just seen is more typical for Bavaria, for instance, or Austria, or Switzerland, the Alps, die Alpen, that type of really rural region, lots of nature, lots of Landwirte, lots of farmers, that is. So that is very typical. And also the clothing, die Tracht, singular, die Trachten, plural. For instance, in the case of the men, it's die Lederhose, singular, die Lederhosen, plural. And in the case of the women, it would rather be das Dirndl, singular, die Dirndl, plural. It's traditional clothing, and you might have seen that or noticed that, when it comes to the Oktoberfest, of course, it's traditional clothing there, but it's pretty much limited to Bavaria in terms of Germany, It's not all of Germany, even though many Germans celebrate the Oktoberfest, and they might actually dress up like that, but it's not a traditional clothing that is really traditional to their region or, regional culture, that is. I think it's interesting that Till's character is blind, or he seems to be blind, so maybe that's all he has left to, get sexual arousement or, pleasure in that sense, through touching big breasts, and therefore he wants them, he longs for them, basically. And he's old, of course, he's gotten older, which is also reflected at the beginning of the lyrics, someone who gets older, fatter, loses hair, and someone who might have a hard time, and I'm not trying to mock anyone in this context, I'm just stating what the song is actually stating. Someone who might have a harder time to really find a woman or to find someone to love them, sometimes, which is sad but true, but that is what it is. And in that sense, this song also is about being superficial when it comes to looks, the looks of a person and the qualities of a person, because as I've said before, in this case, it doesn't matter what the character of a person is like, it's all just and only exclusively about the breasts of the woman. Also, the houses you've seen there, the buildings, you would call them die Alm, a building up in the mountains, in the mountain region, mostly, standalone buildings and very old ones. That type of building is very common there. I guess some people could also argue that it's pretty much making fun of people that might live a comparatively simple life in the eyes of others, because they are living in the mountains and all they do is farming and that's it. Maybe as an equivalent to saying, someone is a hillbilly in America, or like living a really, really simple life. And because they seemingly do that, I don't say they do, but some people might argue that way. Those simple folk, the seemingly simple living people, they might just have like simple Bedürfnisse, das Bedürfnis, singular, die Bedürfnisse, plural. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, of course, I wouldn't, because generalizing like that doesn't help anyway, but I guess some people might actually see this as some sort of, I don't know if mocking is the right term, but playing with that idea at least. And what I also found really interesting, which also adds another level to the song and how you could interpret it, because I didn't think of this before, simply judging from, listening to the song. The character portrayed by Richard Z. Kruspe, the guitarist of the band, who goes down into the cellar, into the basement, who makes himself a dress, pretends to be a woman or wants to be a woman, maybe an inner urge to be of the opposite sex, in the case of him being a man, wanting to become a woman, live a life like a woman with big breasts, big tits, and I'm not saying that in a pejorative way, just descriptive, and in the context of this song, because it's simply titled that way. That's an interesting additional perspective, if you will, which also gives this even a somewhat profound meaning, potentially somewhat profound meaning, to lyrics which, I've said that before, otherwise could be interpreted or comprehended as being quite shallow and funny. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. Rammstein have had those songs before, Pussy once again being one of them, who isn't overly serious, to be honest. Anyway, I'd like to know, what do you think of the music video and the song? What did you think when you heard it for the first time, I wonder? Feel free to tell me in the comments, and of course also make sure to check out the video description with many helpful and interesting links for you, including my socials and support options for the channel. Especially supporting my work on patreon.com/vlogdave helps a great deal. You can't imagine, it really does. So thank you all so very much for this. And by the way, we've reached 50,000 subscribers the other day, and I can't believe it. It's crazy and it's insane, and I'm extremely grateful and humbled. So thank you also very much for making this possible. It means a lot. And as always, thanks for watching everyone. I'm your Vlogdave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.